Hello everyone, how are we today? It's Emily here from Phoenix Gateway. It's been a few weeks since I've actually done a reading or a video of sorts to put on my channel. I personally have taken a little bit of time out on that because I haven't felt aligned to doing it right now. And the reason being is that really the last few weeks I've been doing a lot of processing, just my own inner work that doesn't ever seem to cease. But, there are just times where there is so much that needs releasing and you really need to spend that time working on yourself, just nurturing yourself and knowing that everything you're doing is to truly realign who you are and where you're meant to be. And the biggest way that we can really do that as well is our change in mindset, because when we learn to change our mindset, we start to change our frequency, our energy patterns that we're putting out there. And it's then what we can dream into our physical reality, what we bring into existence. And that, of course, is how we manifest into our lives. So I really felt pertinent to do, this is not a weekly read, but I am going to read cards at the end. I wanted just to have a little chat about what's going on also energetically and putting more things into perspective for myself as well. As most people who are on social media know, and who have probably had their news feeds inundated with the Schumann resonance in particular since yesterday. And I've actually been posting for a little while as well, just because we're seeing such jumps in amplitude. We're seeing more phases where we're getting our blackouts. We're getting a lot more incoming higher frequencies, which are showing up as the white lines that we see. But what we noticed yesterday, glitch or no glitch, was a very specific patterning that was happening on the Schumann resonance. I'm just going to, I took a photo so that I could show those who aren't quite sure. Let me find my photos. Hang on, where is my, I don't know what I've done here. I don't want memories, I want my library. Okay, sorry about this, guys. Where is my, I didn't plan this very well. Where is it from the beginning? Hang on. Let me try that again, shall I? Okay. Oh, photos. Okay. Here we go. All right. I finally found it. This is what we're seeing at the moment. Okay. And the patterning that you see on this side here, that is the normal pattern of how we see the Schumann resonance. But what we've been seeing is this phenomenal geometric pattern, which has been said to be a glitch, that has occurred. And I'm just going to make it a bit so you can see the patterning of it. But there's a definite patterning that is occurring. And the way I look at it is, I keep thinking of these Mandelbrot sets. And I keep visioning, I was actually looking for this gift before, because I feel like I've seen a gift through sacred geometry where we actually see this patterning occurring just because somebody's put it together. And I've looked for the last 5 minutes and I couldn't find what I want to see. but it's like this self-similar patterning that is occurring. What I think is really important to note, that even if this is a glitch, what it has done, it has brought to the attention to many people, more so what the Schumann resonance is. For those who don't know, the Schumann resonance is considered the Earth's heartbeat. It is scientifically monitored, and we can see through, through this actual app, we can see the actual pattern that is occurring, and the different colors have different meanings, and to whether it is on a lower frequency or a higher frequency. The Schumann resonance normally sits at about 7.83 hertz. What we find is the coherence between our brain and the Earth's heartbeat, and we really sit around the same, being that 7.83 frequency. Just as we can measure the Earth's heartbeat, we can also measure within ourselves the different brain frequencies that we have. So anywhere from your delta, your alpha, your theta, your beta, gamma, okay? And what we find is that when we start to have these massive jumps in the Schumann resonance, and many a time the Schumann resonance we find is in direct correlation with the flares coming off the sun. So when we find these flares starting to occur, we start to find that we're getting more, more shifts and changes within the Schumann resonance. There are other factors that affect it as well. It's, we can look at what's going on in terms of our weather patterning, natural disasters, and I'm even going to put in HARP. It's also manipulated by government, unfortunately, and that has also, created issues for not only, Mother Earth, but also for ourselves. But what we're seeing is these massive jumps at the moment. And, with the picture that I just showed you, that was from today that I took that. We're looking at an amplitude of 185, which is very high. The glitch is also said to be within the amplitude as well. Again, that may be so, but I'm looking at it from a couple of different perspectives. As I said, firstly, what it is bringing is a massive awareness to the people. And we need that, because our lives really have been based on a movie of what the powers that be have wanted to create for us. And there's been a lot based on lies, not all home truths, a spinning of aspects. But what happens is the more and more we see, the more we start to believe. So when we start to look at something that really has great importance to us, like the Schumann resonance, it is really amazing that people are taking notice. When I look at this patterning, what I can tell you is this: everything is based on frequency, okay? The way I look at it is looking at a biogeometric signature. When we are around these specific signatures that we are seeing, like this, within our auric field, our energetic field, we can start also, we start to mimic these aspects of these, or we absorb that energy, but we also are bringing in to our, around our auric field within our physical bodies, these particular geometrical shapes. And to me, I look at this and I think it's absolutely amazing, even if it is a glitch. Because to me, it is just quite profound. And to me, there's that deeper meaning on a geometrical level, that mathematical level, and knowing that this awareness that we're bringing through for people, what it is doing is also creating an awakening. It is an awareness. And what is awareness? Awareness is consciousness. We are bringing in a aspect of, a shift in consciousness on a humanitarian level. And we need this. This is what is so important. And there is so much going on in this world right now that has created so much upheaval, so much confusion. People question reality, really. But it's knowing that, there is something that we can base our realities on as well. What is also out there to know is, like for this week as well, we are going into the solstice. It's actually on Thursday, I think, here in the southern hemisphere, early in the morning. It's going to depend where you actually are, but I think it works around the 21st, 22nd of this week. We're going into the winter solstice, shortest day, summer solstice, longest day, depending where you are in this world. And again on that, what I'm seeing is this change in cycles. So when I talk about the change of cycles, there was one other thing, and this is something a girlfriend and I discussed yesterday, was that, and I'm not a huge believer in coincidence. They say there's no such thing as coincidence. I know not everything is necessarily always going to be what you think it is. But one of the last crop circles to come up in Wiltshire, I think it was in Wiltshire, was what looked like a Triskele, or the Triskelian. And it was surrounded within, it was encompassed within a circle. Circle being the circle of life. Again, was it, I look at that and I go, is there a coincidence that we're seeing the glitches within the system, and we're then seeing, this brand new crop circle come up? And so my girlfriend and I started talking about this yesterday, and I said, what to me it looks like is the Triskele, and it is like the Celtic knot. And there are a number of different there are actually a number of different ways in which we can look at this. For me, the one that stands out right now, there's actually two. It is about birth, death, and rebirth, because we're working with the power of three, so mote it be. I'm looking at birth, death, and rebirth. We're within the circle of life. The way that you could look at this particular, I actually wonder if I've got a photo of this as well. Maybe it's on here just to show you. No, it's not on this one. But the way we could look at it is on a standpoint of, so we're looking at the power of three, but it can be looked at as energy, matter, and consciousness, okay? We can look at it as the Maiden, mother, crone. We can look at the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. What other ways can we look at it? They're the main ones that come to me right now. Or we can look at it as heaven, earth, spirit. So you've got a few different ways in which we can start to connect in to this particular symbolism. And for me, again, because of watching and seeing this massive shift in consciousness that we are going through, this massive shift in awareness, I look at it more on that energy, energy matter consciousness. I look at it in terms of that expansion. And when I see it encompassed within the circle of life, or within the circle, and again, you know, when we start to look at the, this is just sort of throwing something in because it's just come to my mind, but we start looking at a circle. When we start thinking about sacred geometry are the building blocks of all creation. I always look at it in terms of, you know, when I teach it, we look at primary and secondary colors. So the primary colors that build our world are based on the platonic solids, in which there are 5. Another beautiful thing to look at is that these 5 platonic solids, their vertices will all touch the inner aspect of a circle. So they all fit within the circle. By looking at this shape, the first one you can look at is actually the tetrahedron. The tetrahedron is actually the very first of the platonic solids, and it is strongest, okay? But the other thing when you look at, I'd like to try and find it for those who may not have actually seen it, but I'm pretty sure everyone has. One moment, I'm just going to quickly get it up because I know I shared it here somewhere on my Facebook page. Here we go. Okay. Oh. So when we look at this picture here, okay, it's like the Triskele, all right, and it's like waves around it. The waves to me are expansion. That's energy. So it's expanding out. And you have the 3. I even started to question whether or not this particular symbolism may even have something to do with the Galactic Federation of somewhere, you know, maybe one of their symbolisms that they use. But I wasn't quite sure on that one, so I'm not going to comment really anymore on that particular part. But you have to start wondering what the correlation is with what is going on. Is it just that it is a coincidence, or is there something a lot deeper meaning in what is going on? And given that this is the solstice week, and the way, again, as I said, we are looking at birth, death, and rebirth. Very much Phoenix energy, very much Assyrian energy, okay? And it's the fertility of what we are creating at this point in time with our lives and and within our future. So this week, yeah, I'm going to call this video, you know, birth, death, and rebirth. It's really, you know, that rising of the Phoenix energy. I just want to go back to that Schumann resonance. So regardless of whether it's a glitch or not, what we are finding is that even though we normally sit around that 7.83 hertz, just like Mother Earth, mind you, the Schumann resonance has about 5 different, I'm pretty sure I always say it's 5, and I think it is. But there are 5 different measurements in which the Schumann resonance does go by, and that are, you know, considered normal for the Schumann. But what we find is, as we're starting to go through and getting these big waves coming in, these huge waves of energy, the frequency that we are experiencing, it really does affect us, okay? Whether you are aware of it or you're not. You know, not everybody is really into it, but they must be questioning, why do I feel like I do? And again, the symptoms on how it affects us can be really vast. For me personally, one of the biggest things I get is a ringing in my ears, and it's like this constant white noise that I get. As things, the frequencies start to change, I can, you know, and they get higher and higher, I can hear it, you know, it just has this ringing, like a ringing in my ears. It's just this constant white noise. You can be exhausted from it. You feel really, really tired. You may feel that you need to sleep. You could be experiencing a lot of emotional changes, in particular, very teary. Honor yourself and sleep if you need to sleep. Make sure you drink a lot of water. For others, you might feel like you just need to ground yourself by having more food. I do a lot of that. But honor you, and when you know there is stuff that is coming to the surface that needs to be shifted, do so. Don't let it sit there. Don't allow it to eat at you. Don't allow, yourself to just sit with it and go, oh, can't be bothered with it. I'm just going to put it to the side. It doesn't work like that. It just makes things worse. Okay. It's really, really important. I can personally tell you that I've actually gone through some hypnotherapy. I have had some sessions in EMDR. I have a wonderful counselor that I use for that. And I love it because it really works well for me. I'm able to shift my aspects of trauma. And remember, everyone's trauma is very personal to what they experience and how they feel it. We all go through something, but we all came here at this point in time to experience what we're experiencing now, and to go through the lessons that we have, because this is what is here to make us grow. This is how we become a lot wiser. And as I said that, I'm looking out my window and seriously a pelican oh my God, a beautiful, beautiful pelican just flew past. I've had it before. I can't remember the meaning, but I might find it and I'll put it onto this reading. Spend time in nature, a lot of walking, be on your land, do some gardening, go for a swim. I actually did an amazing QHHT session also yesterday with my favorite practitioner, Nicole Ben Simon, and love her to bits, and I highly recommend her. If anyone is looking to have a session, remember with QHHT, which is the quantum hypnosis healing therapy, I think that's right. You have to do it as a one-on-one. You have to be present with your practitioner. She's based in Melbourne. I will give the details for her on this post as well. Now I've forgotten what I was going to say about it. Oh my goodness. There was something that came up yesterday. I got sidetracked telling you about Nicole. What was it that I was talking about? My goodness, I've lost my train of thought on it, on what came through that was I wanted to discuss. It's okay. Maybe it wasn't meant to be said, but I totally forget. But I was meant to mention Nicole. So, yeah, I might leave it at that for the minute. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do, you know what? Before I even do my cards, look at the back of the card. Well, firstly, it's two things. It's a 35. 35, 3 plus 5 is an 8. 8 is all about our manifesting. It's all about abundance. But the Nautilus shell, which is a perfect example of Fibonacci, okay, and sacred geometry, it is the expansion card. And what it is saying is, like, it's so apt for everything that I've spoken about. It's all about evolving and expanding. And this is what we are doing now. This is evolution. We are here to unite, to create, to heal, to switch on our DNA, reactivate those aspects of ourselves that were, switched off, that are considered our junk DNA. It's not junk DNA. It's just that it was turned off. And this goes back to the story of Enki and Enlil. And Enlil didn't like what he was seeing, the Anunnaki, Enki and Enlil brothers. Enlil was not the nice one. he was watching, you know, the story goes that he was watching people unify and build together this huge tower, working together, you know, because they knew that they could be up there with the gods as well. And Enlil didn't like it, and he, you know, he pulled down the tower. And what he did is he capped our telomeres. And so that instead of us living for over 120 years, you know, what would end up happening is we might get to 70, 72 years and that be it, and then we are gone. But even that is starting to change. We can change these frequencies. We can change our situation. And before I do this, you know, the last thing is understanding, and through my own journey, what I understand, and I'm learning all the time, and I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting better at it, is changing mindset. You know, when we start to change the way we look at things, the things that we look at start to change, okay? When we start to create a different thought process, we put in positive words, positive actions, and see all that, visualize it in our mind. That is then what we are going to bring into fruition. If we start with negativity, like the negative talk, and I'm, you know, I put my hand up, I do it too. You know, this is part of my human experience, but I'm so aware of what I do, I need to stop myself, you know. So if we start with that negative talk, if we continue with that darkness, that is what we're putting out there. That is what you're then attracting, and it's not where you want to be, okay? There's definitely not where you want to be. All right, so let's get some cards going here. And I am using my Sacred Geometry Healing cards. These are available online. They're available from stockists all around the world. You will find them. They're on Amazon as well. If you would like to buy from me personally, I will definitely sign these cards for you as well. And I have to do this now. I am running the most phenomenal tour to Egypt in October, the 9th to the 23rd. It is the Seeds of Kemet tour, okay, reconnecting to the primordial waters. I am running this tour with a gorgeous man, Yusuf Uyan, who is extremely knowledgeable. He's just an amazing musician and a wonderful person on so many levels, and you can look them up through the Kemet School. But I'm running this tour with him, and it is going to be an absolute blast. We would love to have you along. You can go onto my website, www.seedofthesoul.com/tours. All the details will be below. You will see them on this link as well. But this is for October. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. So you can do that through, I will put the details of that below as well, but it's Seed of the Soul 369@protonmail.com, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you over the tour. All right, let's go. Let's get some cards going to finish this reading off. So this reading will cover the rest of the week. This reading is covering what I have already spoken about, and this reading is also going to cover the solstice, summer, winter solstice, wherever you are in this divine world of ours. Okay. All right. What the first card is vitality. Okay. And this actually is a structure of a garnet crystal, and it is the rhombic dodecahedron, and it's all about vitality. And at the moment, you know, as speaking earlier, we are really going through a very challenging time energetically, and it does, you know, play a bit of a role on how we are feeling emotionally, mentally, and physically. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you. When I did my QHHT session yesterday, and I think it's really important for this, is what really came through was the importance of being in water. See, for me, when I channel, and channel for myself, that is, I love to be in a bath. I love to be in some form of body of water. Too cold now for me to be in the ocean. But that is my way to channel. That is where I feel like I am whole and protected and cleansed of anything that doesn't serve me. It is where I find that when I really tune into my higher self, my future self, okay, this is just beautiful, beautiful energy, and I can really get a lot more clarity when I'm feeling out of sorts and I really feel like, you know, I need some answers. That's the best way for me to do it. The other thing I got to really raise our vibration and really get into it was to dance and sing. And it's, you know, whether you're by yourself or whether you're with others, find yourself moving your body, find yourself just having a great old time and really uplifting yourself and really uplifting your energy. If you do have garnet crystals, work with the garnet crystal. It's really, really beautiful for that as well. Okay. Let's get a couple of more cards, please, and thank you. What else can we be told? I like it when my cards play out. I know not everybody does that, but I do. Okay, and both of these cards, I saw them before I started to shuffle the card. Okay, very much go into mindfulness, exactly what I've already been talking when we go into, you know, tapping into your higher self, tap into your future self. Just shift your frequency, meditate. The more we can get into a state of mindfulness and meditation, the easier it is for us to actually shift our frequency and go to that higher vibration and release ourselves from that lower vibration. All right? It's so important that we balance ourselves, mind, body, spirit. Maybe you want to listen to solfeggio frequencies to do it. Maybe you want to just be in nature. Maybe you want to go for a walk, you know, on your property, or you go for a walk into a forest, or you go for a swim in the ocean, a lake, whatever it might be. Maybe it's about art.Maybe it's about being with friends. Maybe it's about being time alone, that you just need that time alone just to be. But it's about you finding that balance and you balancing your scales. This is our connection to source. Really, really important that we fully connect into source, okay? Because we need to start to listen to our intuition. We need that etheric cord, and we need to be, you know, connected to source, connected to those higher frequencies. And this is where we will start to download that wisdom, that knowledge, that wisdom that already sits within ourselves. When I sign my book, I always write, allow the ancient wisdom of sacred geometry to awaken every cell of your being. This is a solfeggio frequency. This is the 852, okay? So the other thing is you can listen to that as well. 2 more cards, and I'm gonna close up the reading. I'm gonna take this one. Gratitude. It is so important. It doesn't matter what has happened in your life, but as hard as it might be with specific trauma or certain circumstances within your life, you have to get to a point, at some point, you know, it may not be right now, but you have to get to a point where you can create forgiveness about it, and that you can move on so you don't keep yourself stagnant. It is not the easiest thing to do at times, but for others it will be really easy. Maybe things will be a bit fresh for other people and you need a bit more time to, you know, to work on that. I'm going to take the bottom of the deck as the last card, okay? It is the planting the seed. This is all about new beginnings. It is the 6 around the 1. It is the flower, okay? The seed of life, Genesis pattern. This pattern is what ends up making up the flower of life, what will make up the fruit of life, and ultimately Metatron's cube. Okay, absolutely divine energy. Know that we are at new beginnings. Know that we have just gone through a new moon. Okay, I think it was the new moon in Gemini, but it was a new moon on the weekend. I know for Sunday, it was Sunday here, and it's about planting the seeds. I did a little ritual. My ritual included writing down everything that I wanted to express about myself. And funnily enough, it was that I had pulled my own cards. One of them was the 963. The 963 is the I am frequency. And I found myself writing as I listened to the tone. YouTube is perfect. You'll find what you need there. But as I was listening to the 963, I was writing down all that I wanted, you know, to write about myself, what it is that I'm here to create. My little ritual also included cutting off some of my hair, because what I did is I created a bond and sealed it with a bond, which was to do with my hair. But I put in it some little Peruvian abundance seeds. I put it in some snake skin, the shedding of the snake, because snake is all about rebirth, okay? And the other thing I put in it was some patchouli for love, as well as a small little jade crystal and a little moss agate, because for me, I am at that point where I need to go to that next stage of who I am and what it is that I am doing. And I folded it all up, and it just so happened that I have a couple of jade plants around my property, and I've buried it into my jade plant. So that was for me to create the seed. It doesn't matter if you don't do this on, you know, the new moon. Yes, you're working more energetically with it. But when we come from a place of intention, good intention, and what it is we want to create, it doesn't matter, because you're already putting it out to the universe. This is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm creating, okay? So, and it's a number 11, this card. So 11s are all about new beginnings. The 1s is new beginnings. It's also about leadership. To me, that is stability. If you pull the 11 together, 1 and 1, you know, you're holding on to stability there. And it, you know, we just have 8, 9, 10, 11. Ah, look at that. 8, 9, 10, 11. That's another 11, the gratitude card. So you got 11, 11. So 11, 11. Make a wish. I love it. And the first card, vitality, is an 11. We have 3 11s on the table. Woot, 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 woot. 11, 11, 11. Okay, enough said. There is such beautiful cards here. I've really enjoyed doing this. I know it's long, but I've absolutely loved speaking and explaining how I feel things have been. So again, you can buy my cards on my website, or you can buy it throughout stockists around the world. Also my tour, www.seedofthesoul.com/tours, and you can find out more about this amazing tour. I cannot wait to get back there in October, oh my goodness. Anyway, love to you all, and I will speak to you next week. Bye for now.